Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Friday Eve. We are back. It's the 1st of December, 2016, nearing the end of a beautiful year, and I am talking to my man, The Dream. Kid, welcome back.
Whoa, SBTV Nation, Dream is back in the house with the hat, and it's been a minute, and apparently some people out there missed us, son.
Oh, definitely, Dream. Well, I'm sitting here, and I'm doing the show with all fingerprint dust all over the place. Because what happened was about, I'd say, I don't know when the last time was we were on the show. What was it? Right before Thanksgiving. Somebody broke in the office. Whoever left the office was the last person to leave, did not set the alarm. So sure enough, over the Thanksgiving Day holiday, somebody broke into the office and stole some equipment from us. So I had the police in here. They were dusting for prints and all. You know how that goes. You know, I got probably a better shot at seeing God than catching whoever did it. But it is what it is, and hey, now we're back. We are live, and we're ready to talk to the SBTV
on
Nation.
the bright side of the whole thing, the people who stole the equipment, because they stole it right before Thanksgiving, they went into the laptop that they stole and took your Michigan future and played it.
Michigan's number 5, dude.
As we have not had an opportunity to talk about what happened to your boy Harbizzle player.
Harbizzle was up 10 points. Dream, they actually played pretty good in that game. I honestly thought that I didn't think they had a shot to win that game going into it. I just thought that Ohio State would come out like gangbusters and probably win by double digits, to be honest with you. I didn't play the game personally, but you know, when I saw Michigan, what they were doing defensively, I was pretty impressed with them playing in Columbus like that. You got to give it to them.
Well, Michigan played well defensively. I will say that, and I agree with that. But we always talked about Michigan's inability to execute the ball effectively on offense, and I saw that inability ultimately cost them that game as far as I'm concerned. You know, they had the lead for the majority of the game. They got the ball in great positions at times. They were able to move at times, but not consistently down the field. And in the end, they were not able to put up enough offense to stymie Ohio State. Now, defensively, they played excellent. I can't knock their defensive game at all. They defensively were excellent. There were a couple of situations that I might have taken a couple of shots, and play calling was a little bit, you know, because sometimes when I watch a game, I don't know about you, but when I watch a game, I feel like I see something that the offense is able to do. And sometimes, even though you don't get that first down on third down, if you've been effective moving the ball, you got to have the cojones to go ahead and go for it on fourth down, because you got to feel in the back of your mind, you know, if I give this other team the ball at this point in the game, their momentum or whatever they got going on, it's just going to overcome my guys. Yeah. So I'd rather make draw a line in the sand and make my stance here than to give them the ball back and give them that opportunity. And I think in a couple of positions, Michigan probably should have went for it, that they decided to punt.
I agree with you. But you know what? I mean, yeah, it was just, that Ohio State team, they just wear on you. And they do play, I mean, definitely better in the second half. I mean, we saw it in the Wisconsin game, and we saw it in this game. So, you know what? At the end of the day, they were the better team, and they got the job done. And it just seemed like Michigan, once it went into overtime, you just knew. You knew that Michigan wasn't coming out of there. Unless there was some kind of crazy turnover or something like that, Dream, it just wasn't going to happen,
No doubt.
Hey, anyway, it is what it is. They are number 5 right now. So the way it looks, I mean, since we're talking about it, we'll just jump right into it. You got Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Washington rounding up the top 4. Now, I was high on Washington up until the USC loss. That loss really bothered me, Dream, to be honest with you. But going into Washington State, they laid the smackdown on Washington State, which is a very good team.
Yes.
So it just seems like they kind of got their mojo back here. But if they lose to Colorado, that poses an interesting conversation for the football playoff committee, because who do you put in? You put in Colorado or you put in Michigan, because Michigan beat Colorado. So Michigan still has a chance here, Dream.
Michigan does have a slight chance. I honestly don't see, I don't see it. Now, it can happen, obviously, but I don't see Washington losing to Colorado, but it is definitely possible. Now, the only thing that I'm going to say, I know Michigan has beat Colorado, but it was earlier on in the, kind of earlier on in the season, kind of, but I just don't know that this committee will put 2 teams from the Big Ten in that playoff.
Well,
if having the same record. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, you have Michigan, you have the Ohio State University, and you have the winner of the Big Ten championship, which is Wisconsin and Penn State. So there's a guys, if chaos happens, you could have 3 Big Ten teams in there.
I know, which is terrible.
I don't think it's terrible. I think it's dope.
I think it's terrible because I would hate to see a team from another division or another conference, I should say, knocked out with 3 from one conference, because I don't feel that the Pac-10 competitive, very competitive, and a good conference. But to have 3, even 2, to me, is a little much. It's a stretch.
Well, you know what? We've been talking about this, and you and I were talking about this before the show started. Now, and sorry to my man Super Mario, who someone stole his work van yesterday, Dream. Wow. Damn, I hope that doesn't hinder our business together, my man. But I wish you the best of luck in trying to relocate your vehicle here. And so anyway, or locate your vehicle, I should say. But looking at this, Dream, I mean,
y'all got to get out the hood. See, that's why, listen, that's why the Dream is out in the area where, I do worry about a serial killer.
That's all you got to worry about.
But I don't have to worry about my cars getting stolen, the house getting broken, or none of that.
Dream goes to sleep with the doors unlocked, the windows open, perfectly manicured
the whole
lawn.
You don't got to worry about none of that out here. You know what I mean? You don't got to worry about that. You occasionally got to keep your eye out for the cat in the minivan, driving up the street in the onesie. Yep. You know what I mean? You got to keep your eye out for him. But other than that, it's cool.
I got you, man. So, and you and I were talking about this. The ACC championship game has Clemson versus Vatech. And I got news for you. I don't know. I mean, Clemson's been rolling through some competition lately, but look who they've been playing. So, you know what? When you look at this particular game, Vatech, there's a chance. I would not be surprised if Vatech knocked off Clemson, Dream.
Well, I would be a little bit surprised. I don't expect Clemson to fall. Now, I do think that Clemson's locked in. Coaching staff should be very on top of their kids, getting them very set for this particular matchup and telling them the importance of this matchup. They got a second life and a second chance, and it is prudent that they capitalize on it. You look no further than about 10 spots down at a Louisville team with all that talent that they got. Absolutely wasted their opportunity, because had Louisville hung around and kept their record pristine, and I know it's tough because it's sad that this is the bar, because honestly these kids do go out and give their all. I know we get mad and we're like, you stink. Listen, dude, it's a competitive level and a high level for all these kids. They all do a lot of preparation. There's a lot of behind the scenes work. I mean, there's a ton of work that goes on, but if Louisville was able to just withhold that one loss and hold position, they would be in this playoff right now.
Of course they would.
But the fact that they went out, lost that game to Houston, and then it's just mind-boggling to me. Houston is a whole nother a story, which we were going to get into in a few minutes too. But you lose that game to Houston, and now you're way out on the outside looking in, and you should be right there.
You lost to Kentucky in your house.
You know how.
That's a bad loss.
No.
That is a super bad loss. But you know what? Hey, it is what it is. They're still going to get a pretty damn good bowl game, especially that you got the odds-on favorite being Action Jackson for the Heisman Trophy winner this year. So, and looking at the rest of it here, I mean, hey, my team Western Michigan gets no love, Dream.
No love. No love.
No love at all.
Love
Number 17 over 12-0, exactly.
And that's my thing, too. You know, and I got to say this as well. You know, should Michigan, this is hard, but should Washington lose? And should Wisconsin beat Penn State? I don't know. I feel like, how do you put those teams in and then you don't give a 12-0 team like a Western Michigan? I don't know. I feel like they should get a look. It's tough because I don't think that they're on par with the rest of that rank with that, with those teams either. But for those teams to get in with 2 to 3 losses and then to be sitting there undefeated, that's kind of a smack in the face.
I agree with you. And this sets up some pretty interesting games going into the weekend on Saturday. And you've got some pretty lopsided spreads here, Dream. I know Florida stinks and all, but they're getting 24 points from Alabama. 20.
Sean is not the real Heisman winner, Shane.
What's that?
Shane is saying Deshaun is the real Heisman winner. He's not. No. I'm sorry. Action Jackson deserves the Heisman.
Yeah, he's going to get it regardless of the losses. He's going to get it. They got 3 losses on the year, and, losing the Kentucky game's got a lot of people scratching their head, man.
It does, but listen, when you lose a game, it's a team effort, not one person. There's a football, we didn't play defense.
I agree. I mean, imagine if you had a really good offensive line and the defense played pretty well and stuff like that. I mean, the guy would have been... he lit it up, Dream.
No doubt.
All year long. So, anyway, as far as college football is concerned, I don't really see any other teams that, besides the Big Ten winner, besides the top 4 that we're talking about, I just don't see really, and you have the winner of Bedlam, too, here, Dream. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State this weekend.
That's your other team, which is Oklahoma, which I absolutely find hysterical that we're even discussing this at this point in the season. Big game Stoops.
Yes.
Get Big Game Stoops in the playoffs because I can tell you right now.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take that to the bank.
Of course we are. Go bet the
on
other
your
side.
banker, let him know you're ready because Big Game Stoops, if he gets in the playoffs, will definitely lose a game. And I got to be honest with you. I think Oklahoma's going to beat Oklahoma State.
Definitely.
Oklahoma
State does.
I think they're going to beat them.
Oklahoma State does absolutely nothing for me. Nothing at all. And they've got a pretty bad loss. They got a couple of losses here I'm looking at. But anyway, hey, moving on. We'll see what happens.
Before we move on, I do need to discuss this.
Yes.
Mr. Tom Herman.
Go for it.
All right. I don't got a problem. First of all, college football, the NCAA, and I've been kind of an advocate of this. I talked about this a bunch of times on the show before. I'm talking about it again. I talked about it with Urban Meyer. I talked about it with other coaches in the past. You should not be able to court a coach or a player until the seasons are over. And I'm talking about if they're in a bowl.
I agree.
When the bowl season is over and the bowl is over, then you should be able to court a player or a coach. Why the NCAA feels like it's okay to let these guys get in on courting coaches and players before the season's over and creating all kinds of chaos in those programs, I have no clue. The second part is, even if the NCAA doesn't impose it, you as a head coach, all right? Successful head coaches make millions of dollars. Millions. You're not broke. You're not worried about being in the unemployment line. You're not worried about scrambling for a job, okay? At this point in the game, if you are one of the high-level coaches, you are coaching because you love sports, you found something that you really love to do, and you have a passion for it. Part of that passion is you went out and you recruited a bunch of young individuals, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-old kids.
That are coming there next year, yeah.
That came to your program because of you and a commitment that you promised them. You made a commitment to them. They made a commitment to you. Now, I have no problem with you moving on, but you got to move on with class. You got to finish out your season, and then you got to sit the kids together and you got to say, hey, listen, guys, I've got an opportunity to go X, Y, and Z. This is what I want to do. This is where my love is. This is the school that I went to. It's a great opportunity for me. I've got to move on, but I'm going to leave you guys in capable hands. You don't just abandon ship. At the end of your season on your team that has all their faith in you. I mean, young kids have faith. I mean, what kind of message? That's my thing with the NCAA too. What kind of message are you sending the kids? Because most people, if you don't give a 2-week or some type of notice to your job, you've left on bad terms.
I agree with you.
You're supposed to say, hey, listen, I got another opportunity, so, I need to give you my 2 weeks or whatever you need me to, do to complete this, to finish this up before I get out of here. I mean, you're supposed to be preparing these young men for a future in life. A future in life is not abandoning ship on your last game and working out deals in the back room and then lying to the press, telling the press, all I care about is my kids.
Yeah.
Just shut up, man. If you know you got a deal in progress or you made one, don't say nothing. Just be, I'm focused on the game. That's at least you could say. But don't say in one sentence, I'm just worried about my kids. And in the next day, you're off to Texas.
Couldn't agree more with you on that. And your boy Charlie Strong, obviously, is being replaced by him.
Mr. Charlie's being replaced. Mr. Charlie's getting $10 million. As long as he doesn't find another job, I would say the brother is actively not seeking employment. He could go out and get one of them rallies that you talk about, the people with no jobs.
Right on.
Charlie can ride out to the Trump rally in a limo and stand on top of the hood saying, "Why Hillary?"
I agree with you, Dream. So anyway, I think that does it for college football. And, we got a lot of games going on this weekend. All the conference championships rocking and starting tomorrow night. As tomorrow night, and we'll be breaking this down tomorrow, we've got Ohio versus Western Michigan, and we got Colorado versus Washington. That is Friday night football, Dream.
We're going to get into that on Friday. Guys, before we left, a lot of stuff is going on in between. Thanksgiving, we didn't talk about the Cowboys. We got to talk about the Cowboys because everywhere I go, I don't know about you, Hat, but they're out.
Well, we're going to be talking about them tonight as they are going into Minnesota to play.
No, we will be talking about, but I just need to get a little bit about them just in general, what they did on Thanksgiving, which was very, very impressive. They obviously beat the brakes off of, well, I shouldn't say beat the brakes, but they beat the Redskins. However, I got to say that the Redskins, when I watched the Cowboy-Redskin game on Thanksgiving, and it's lost a little bit of its luster now because it was, a week or so ago. So there's obviously not as much excitement that I had at that particular time. But I was more impressed with the Redskins than I was actually impressed with Dallas. Only because I'm impressed with Dallas, but we've seen Dallas do what they do all season long. But to see Kissing Cuz slinging that ball around and doing the things that he did.
Yeah, he did.
It was very impressive. The only thing that I will say, I didn't like the play calling in the red zone by the Redskins in the first half of the game. And I felt like if they took a couple of opportunities and a couple of shots, more shots at the end zone and tried to make sure they got touchdowns instead of field goals, they would have just turned out much better. And I think the outcome would have been better. The Cowboys, listen, I know the Cowboys are good, guys. I'm not going to say they're not good. And it is a good offense. It's a good offense. It is not a good defense. It's an okay defense. And here's my thing. I hope that you don't have a bad offensive game in a playoff situation.
Right.
Because if you get a bad offensive game in a playoff situation and you have to rely on that defense to save you, I don't know if it's going to work out quite like you folks think it's going to work out in Cowboy Nation.
Right. And you know what? Because the NFC is playing so well, being the Giants, Redskins, you got Detroit Lions, you've got a couple of other teams here that, Giants only have 3 losses, Redskins 4, Detroit 4, Atlanta 4. I mean, you've got some pretty good teams here, so it's going to take a couple more wins. Your playoff situation isn't safe unless you win at least 11 or 12 games. So I'm assuming that if they win tonight and then they win the following week, that would put them in the playoff stream at 12 wins?
Listen. Cowboy fans, you could try to ignore it, and you could try to say, nah, we got him, we're good. Offensive line. Every time I talk to a Cowboy fan, every Cowboy fan in the country, all they want to talk about is offensive line. All right, whatever. Okay, I watch offensive linemen, guys, get hurt almost every other play. Turn on TV on Sunday, fat offensive line guy gets hurt, rolls an ankle, and can't come back in to play. I don't, whatever with the offensive line. Okay, cool. I'm going to tell you something, though. The last team the Cowboys want to see, whether you guys want to admit it or not, and in the back of your mind, you know what's there. You don't want to see that Giant team. And I know you don't. And nobody really wants to see the Giants in the playoffs because we all know what the Giants are capable of doing in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. So you could try to act like they don't exist and act like they're not tearing it up, but your secondary does not want to see Odell Beckham acting stupid back there, all right? Because that's exactly what he'll be doing. And you just don't want to see this Giant team. And you could talk about your offensive line till you're blue in the face. I know about them. You can talk about Dak. But the bottom line about Dak is also, no matter what you guys say, he's a rookie quarterback. And the gameplay changes and steps up a notch in the playoffs. That's the only thing I'm going to say to Cowboy Nation, just to keep it real.
Keeping it real, Dream. 100%. And you know what? There is another team that I think that the Cowboys don't want to see. Well, first of all, it's the Giants. I 100% agree with you on that. Even though they did lose this last game, they don't want to see the Seattle Seahawks either.
Oh, son, I can't with them. I can't. Listen, I can't with the Seahawks. I just can't. I can't. You know what? Because the Seahawks, to me, they're another team that they got a good quarterback. I won't say great, but I'll say good. He's really good. First of all, I told you, I think he's out of shape. Because he's put on a little bit of weight. So, one, I think he's out of shape. So, there's some conditioning questions. The other issue is that offensive line that they spend about $100,000 on is absolutely dreadful. They come play sometimes, and then sometimes they don't. Go look at the money. They spent no money on that offensive line. They're players. They're another team, much like Carolina, who surrounded this guy with nobodies. You know, them guys... You know, sometimes they catch the ball, sometimes they don't, sometimes they get even Jimmy Graham. It's still been a major disappointment. I know they're working on your chemistry. Jimmy Graham, you know what? I bet you if you could do this over again, you'd keep your ass in New Orleans.
Oh, I would definitely think so.
It just didn't work out. It never worked out. And, you know, when I look at this team, the Seattle team that we know of old, I hate giving a lot of credit to this individual because I really didn't. I shouldn't say I don't like. I don't have a problem with him. I just didn't like the way he acted during the Super Bowl with his, not wanting to talk and all that, whatever. But dude, it shows you the importance of Marshawn Lynch. Man, I agree, because Marshawn Lynch, that element missing from Seattle, that's the real thing that's really killed Seattle.
I agree with you. He was that power back that got you that 3rd and 2. He's that power back that put it in the end zone. Now it's, when you got short positions as far as, getting a first down, they have to dial up some different stuff as far, offensively. I mean, they're throwing the ball a lot more. I mean, it just seems like a little bit of a different chemistry there, Dream. And it just seems like almost like they just don't have an identity yet. But I could tell you this much, that this is something I've noticed about Seattle, and this is going back years now. That team is one of the hardest hitting teams in the NFL. When they hit you, you feel it, and you could hear it on the TV screen every single time they make a tackle, man. They hit hard.
They definitely hit. I'm not going to take anything away from their hit, and their defense is still decent. The problem I have with their defense, though, is when they need that takeaway or that stop, that 3rd down stop, when they really need the ball back, your defense sometimes doesn't show up in those situations.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And it's as far as I'm concerned in the NFC, Seattle just doesn't do it for me. As far as challenging the Cowboys, I don't see it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Their defense can probably contain Ezekiel Elliott the best out of all the teams that are left, but they offensively just don't do it for me.
Well, who would think going into the season that the NFC East would be the class of the NFC as far as divisions are concerned?
Especially how weak it's been over the past years.
Oh, I know. I mean, when you're looking at it here, the Atlanta Falcons are 7-4. They're ahead in the South. And believe it or not, Dream, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 3 in a row. They are now 6-5, looking at a possible wild card, possibly a division.
Just about to go there, too, as well. Let's talk about that game. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't know if you guys remember, but at the beginning of the season, there was all this rhetoric about Jameis Winston stepping it up to the next level. You know, he's working with the old quarterback coach. He's not a head coach. Things are going to get better there. They're ready to move on. And then we saw them lose a bunch of games at the beginning of the season. We're like, all right, no, they're not. They're not. They're done. He's not that good, whatever. But quietly have snuck back, and they're starting to play at a high level, at the level that we expect them to play at the beginning of the season. Things are starting to work out there, and this team is very, very dangerous. However, that being said, I just don't think that they're on par with the Giants, the Cowboys, even Seattle. I know they beat Seattle, but I don't know. Seattle's just a weird team like that. I just still feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are kind of like the Detroit Lions. Like, they're the B part. They would be the B part of the playoffs.
Second tier.
Yeah, second tier. You know, team to play in the first round against a decent maybe wild card team and get surprised. You know, like I could see a New Orleans Saints honestly beating Tampa Bay in the playoff game. I could see that.
Yeah, but the Saints are getting into playoffs. They're 5-6 right now.
No, I'm just saying I could. It's something that I could. You know what I mean? If it was to happen, that's what I could see. You know, I could see them falling like to some team like that.
Do you have any other NFC stuff before we get into the AFC?
Well, I want to take back for a minute because I want to understand. You just said that the Saints aren't getting in, and they are 5-6.
5-6 team.
Right.
You know, I mean, if it ended right now, you're looking at the 2 wild cards being the Washington Redskins and the New York Football Giants. That's the way it would shake out. Giants 3 losses, Redskins 4 losses. Saints have 6 losses. I mean, they probably have to win at least 4 out of 5 games to make it.
Sure.
So, you know, there's only five games left, surprisingly, Dream. That's it. So, you know, as far as the NFC is concerned, I don't really see anybody else. I mean, the Packers are 5-6 as well.
So I got to segue to another story. We're gonna break it up a little bit.
All right.
Y'all know I do the fantasy league. Hat was in the league. He messed it up. First year it was fun, and he was bootied the next year, and then we threw him out. So anyway, I've been in this league for a bunch of years. Well, this season, around week 4, because you know how you always got that one shady guy, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. There's that one shady team in the league that's always trying to do some trade that makes no sense, and you know, we got one guy who's controversial and got that off. So what happened is he decided to draft Gronkowski, and he drafted Tom Brady at the draft. All right. Then when he started 0-4, he got antsy because Brady wasn't playing. Gronkowski had missed the 2 games. So what he decided to do was he was frustrated and he wanted to package up a bunch of his guys and do a very uneven trade. So he trades 3 guys: Brady, Gronkowski, and Des Bryant. Okay, for 1 AJ Green.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So now I saw the trade, so I'm in the league going crazy. I posted on the message board, hey, veto that trade. It's stupid. It makes no sense. You can't go 3 guys for 1. They got to clean that up. I didn't mind the trade, but the 3 guys for 1 thing just wasn't working for me. I mean, AJ Green for Des Bryant, as far as I'm concerned, that's an even trade. But because, you know, Des was hurt, Gronk was hurt, and Brady wasn't playing, he was getting no production out of 3 of those 3 guys, so decide to package that up. But anybody who knows how fantasy works, all that's gonna, you know, eventually pan out as you get deeper in the season, which I happen to be at the time in first place. So I'm saying, dude, you're powering up this team by week 8 or 9 or where we're at right now. This team's gonna be a monster. Sure enough, makes the trade. Nobody in the league said anything. Dude has not lost a game since the trade has went down and is in first place. Okay?
Of course he is.
So now, here come all the rumblings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's rumbling about, the trade. I didn't see it. And I'm sitting here and I'm heated because they let the trade go down. I was mad about it when it was happening. I was trying to get people to talk, but you know me, I'm always running my mouth. Cats ain't paying me no attention. They're not, you know, they're not wanting to get involved. And now I've been hot about it. Well, nevertheless, I happen to square up against this team this week. And you know how I am. I put down the big team, so I put them down.
Who'd you have?
And your boy's back in first place again. Drew Brees, you absolutely am this weekend.
Nice.
So I had Drew Brees. Drew Brees hit me off with about 35 points and a couple other players. He didn't get the game that he usually gets out of Brady. Gronk, of course, didn't play at all. So, and Des Bryant only got 7 points on Thanksgiving. So it was a successful week for me.
I had a Thanksgiving Day fantasy league going on. It was a daily fantasy contest. First place paid $50,000. I made it all the way up to 15th at one point in the Dallas game. And Kirsten Cousins threw like a monster touchdown pass. I forgot who it was, but I had like every Redskins receiver except for this guy. And it knocked me all the way down to like 2,000 on that one touchdown pass.
Garcon?
No, I had Garcon.
Okay.
I forgot who it was. Oh.
Not Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed had a monster.
No, I had Reed. Reed was dope. Yeah, I forgot who it was, man. It was, what we had, a week and a half ago now, what that was? Or a week ago? So, but anyway, hey, I keep trying those because I'm going to hit one of them at some point. Hopefully I don't spend more money than that trying to get the eye on the prize here. So, Dream, moving over to the AFC real quick.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on the New England Patriots? Are they going to be it in the AFC? Or is there any teams that can knock them off?
I feel like the Patriots are going to be it. You know, I had a lot of faith in the Denver Broncos, and I still do, because I know everybody thinks the Denver Broncos are done. I don't think the Denver Broncos are done yet, necessarily. I think that kick was absolutely asinine that they made on Sunday night. Knowing what the stakes were, they should not have kicked that ball. And they also should have maybe called some different play calls. And as good as the Denver Bronco defense is, that defense did let them down. They were up. That defense let them down in the end of that game. And that defense, I don't care what anybody says, Denver's defense is the best defense in the NFL. I don't care what you say, and I know that they lost that game, but you think about the amount of time that defense was on that field and the way they were holding, any other defense would have collapsed in that situation way before they did. And they did let up that last score, but I still think they got the best defense in football. And I do think that they're not yet really done with this playoff scenario. Now, other than the Broncos, I don't really see a team challenging the Patriots. I know everybody's talking about the Raiders. Dude, I cannot buy into the Raider defense. I'm sorry. Raider defense is absolutely terrible.
Oh, it is.
You play against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady with that defense,
yeah, I know.
They're going to abuse you.
I agree. And you know what? I'm looking at another couple of teams here, and Kansas City's, 8-3, Dream.
They just can't, Kansas City, I just don't trust them in a big game. They're another team. Not enough weapons.
Right. And I mean, you look at the AFC South, you got no AFC South and AFC North. I don't think you have any teams whatsoever, unless Pittsburgh gets very healthy. I don't really see anybody. I mean, you got Baltimore and Houston in the lead in those divisions.
Yeah, I hate Houston. I hate Baltimore. The two teams that I look at in those divisions that I would be worried about. Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously. The Pittsburgh Steelers, you always have to be worried about them just because of their offense alone. That offense, to me, is still the most explosive offense. I personally, I'm going to give the Steeler offense, I hate to say this, the Cowboy fans going to lose their mind. I'm sorry, but I still think that the Steeler offense is the best offense in football.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. To me, I give Bell the nod over Zeke. I know Zeke's doing great things, but I'm sorry. If I was going to have my team, I'd take Bell over Ezekiel. And I give Roethlisberger the nod over.
Yeah, agreed.
And I give Brown the nod over Dez.
I agree with you on that, Dream. I really do.
So I'm sorry, guys. Now, I would give the Dallas offensive line, everybody keeps talking about that. I'm so sick of hearing about it. But I'll give them that knock over the Steelers. But Big Ben, you know him, he'll be out there in a wheelchair throwing the ball with his offensive line. So, unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, one, they do a lot of dumb things. And I know a lot of people like Mike Tomlin as a coach, and I like him as a coach, too. But there's, when I watch the Steelers play, there's a lack of discipline that I got to blame on the head coach.
Yeah. You would think that. I mean, you would look at his demeanor. You would think that he'd be like, have a short fuse and have these guys in check. But I agree with you,
He's
Dream.
like that fun dude, though. It looks like he trying to hang out after at the parties and maybe making it rain outside the strip club or pick you up or something. You know what I'm saying? He just seems like maybe he's just too, I don't know, cool with the player. I feel like he's got that demeanor where maybe he's just too much of a player type coach.
Yeah, I got it. I hear you. Well, you know what? They're tied with Baltimore right now.
The team in AFC hat. You know who they are?
I don't know, Dream. Interdivision matchups, anything could happen. Don't let the Miami Dolphins play the New England Patriots. Shock the world. Shock the world. I call them as a 10-6 team, Dream.
I love that the Niners almost beat them last week.
What's that?
I love that the Niners almost beat them.
Oh, dude, you saw that parlay I posted?
I saw the parlay you posted.
I was 2 yards away on that game. I was two yards away on the Patriots game because they were going to put it in the end zone again, and I had Jets plus 10.5. Crazy how that worked out. Unbelievable, but I ended up getting it done.
And the Tennessee game, too.
Yeah, I know.
Stomach aching all day long.
Oh, man, I was within a couple of points of losing that on every single game, guys. And you know what? It was like a plus 250 money line parlay. It wasn't I had points. It was just a regular parlay, but I bought a couple of the key numbers and made it work. And, well, Dream, hey, listen, the Dolphins are 7-4 now. I mean, I'm calling them to go 3-2 or better for the rest of the year.
That is a bad team. I don't care what you say.
Dream, it's called winning.
I know it's called winning.
Listen, how many times have we seen the teams that sucked but snuck into the playoffs and were dope in the playoffs? You've seen it, and they've murdered everybody's
bankroll. The Dolphins are not going to be dope in the playoffs.
All right.
I'm stopping you. The Dolphins are going to be that team that stunk, that got killed in the playoffs, like the Texans last year. Or that year Arizona went. Remember when Killed Arizona? They had their backup, the third string quarterback in?
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, no, the Dolphins, they're the team that stinks, that gets in, that gets killed. I hope that they do get in, though, because once again, we will have another opportunity to call our banker and get the kids' college fund dead right.
Well, if you think about it, if it ended today and they made it into the playoffs, they would play week 1 versus one of the weaker division winners.
Which would be who?
The Houston Texans or the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, now if they play the Houston Texans, there's possible a shot. If they play the Houston Texans, I think it's going to be the Titans out of the South. I got to be honest with you. I don't know that the Houston Texans are going to be able to win that division. I honestly think the Titans are coming out of that division. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens I'm sorry. I think the Ravens are better than the Dolphins.
Well, they play each other this week in Baltimore.
Yeah, good. Because I get a live look in.
You can get a live look in. And Baltimore is -3. And you know what? Pains me to say this, and we'll talk about it more on Sunday, but I think that the Baltimore Ravens will win that game. And then the following game, they have Arizona coming into Miami, and I think Miami could beat Arizona. I think they really can. So, anyway, hey, that's the AFC wrap-up, guys. And we are all entrenched in the NFL and football right now. Listen, man, college football is coming to a close. We got 5 weeks left of the NFL regular season, then we get into the playoffs. So, we're going to have to journey over, obviously, after that to hoop. But football is our first love.
And it is time to relish the football season because, guys, we are coming to a close in this season. And the one thing that I do also want to talk about is that the Arizona Cardinals absolutely stink. And the greatest place for Tony Romo to land, I think there's 2 incredible spots. But the very number one spot to me is Arizona. I think it's a better fit than Denver only because the weather conditions in Arizona are ideal for a person's health, like Tony Romo's health is considered, which is Mr. Glass. So I think that's a great spot for Romo. I know a lot of people talked about Denver. Denver would be a good spot, but it can get cold, and I don't know about that air with him, but I think Arizona is the number one spot for him to go in that offense and flourish. All they need is that competent quarterback. They've got a good defense, good running game. The receivers, they could use maybe a little upgrade and pick up somebody in free agency in the offseason. I don't know if Fitzgerald's going to stay or not, but all that team needs to me is a competent quarterback. Because I honestly think that Carson Palmer, I think he's done. I talked about it for most of this year, and I'm going to stand on that. I think Carson Palmer's days of being a quarterback are over. I
agree with you. That's just not a winning pedigree. And you know what? You got teams like them, and you got teams like the Cincinnati Bengals and, some of these other teams that have historically been decent, in the regular season and in the playoffs kind of crap the bed. Well,
thank God we're not going to
be in. Yeah, they're probably not going to be in the playoffs, and I think there's going to be some management firings going on. Dream, to be honest,
should be some shakeups in Cincinnati. I mean, I listen. I've called for there should be some shakeups in Cincinnati. I agree 100%.
All right, sounds good. So we have a game tonight, Dream.
Do we?
And we need to talk about it right now and get right into it. We are in the NFL. We're going back to the NFC, and we are going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings, who are a home team underdog on primetime, getting 4 points from the Dallas Cowboys. And looking at this here, Dream, and let's take a look at what we have for a line on this particular game. Guys, if you just give me a minute, I'm pulling it up right now. You've got, it went down to 3 with an under over of 44 points. Looks like just on one board, one source that I'm looking at, it looks like there's a lot of money on the Dallas Cowboys. Like 70% of the spread, to be honest with you. Dream, what's your thoughts on Minnesota, who has lost 5 out of 6 games?
Well, my thought on Minnesota, who's lost 5 out of 6 games, are they stink, and I told you that at the beginning of the season. I did not know what they were going to do. I did not feel that Sam Bradford was the answer. I could not understand why they even went after him out of all the people that were available. I would have just ran with whoever the backup was, because I didn't think it was going to work. And then you lose Adrian Peterson. I admit the defense is good. Any defense left out in the field for an elongated period of time are going to end up showing, their problems. This game, you said it went down to 3. I saw this game, and I even hit it on Twitter, I believe on Monday. I put this game in on Monday.
Oh, you did?
And I made the announcement on Twitter. I put this game in minus the 3 because I thought the line was going to go up. I couldn't believe it was 3. Now, of course, everybody started. The conspiracy theorists have all come out, and they've all done, the prime time thing.
Of course.
How do you know? Prime time at home. They did the Dallas is looking, ahead to next week's game against the Giants, and they're not paying. Look, okay, whatever. Guess what? It's the best team in football right now versus what I consider one of the worst teams in football, in the Vikings, and in Sam Bradford. I don't see the Vikings have any type of success offensively, and I don't see them being able to stop the Dallas Cowboys and their offensive line that we've heard so much about for 4 quarters of football. So while they might start off real slow in the beginning, at some point, Dallas's run game should emerge. I see Dallas winning this game by double digits. I mean, that's just I can't not see the Cowboys winning this game under any stretch of the imagination unless Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Des Bryant are in a minivan right now smoking weed, get pulled over by the cops or get in an accident and are in a hospital. Other than that, I can't see them not winning this game.
Well, all right. So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at what Minnesota does defensively. And, you got to give them some props as far as their defense is concerned, especially the rush defense. They're only giving up 100 yards a game. Now, Dallas has a much better rush defense, believe it or not, Dream. 81.4 yards per game they're allowing Dallas. I really feel like Minnesota is going to contain Zeke tonight. I think this game is going to be a little closer than you think. I really do. I can see this. I do believe you. I do think Dallas is clearly the better team, especially in the last 6 games where Dallas is 6-0 and Minnesota is 1-5. So clearly Dallas has the momentum.
Keep in mind, Dallas has been ahead in most of their games, so the other teams have had to throw the ball.
Good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, because they allow 280 through the air. That secondary, Dream. So, the thing is that, you have that as an Achilles heel, the secondary for Dallas, obviously. But when you look at who they're facing tonight with Sam Bradford, I mean,
Dude.
I know there's nothing besides the whole home team underdog on primetime thing. There's nothing else in the world that would make me think of taking Minnesota. I just can't see it. I'm adding up the stats. I'm adding up everything here. I'm seeing that Minnesota only scores 19.8 points per game. There's nothing here that makes me in my blood want Minnesota to put my money on them. I just can't do it. But I would understand if they won because of the way things have been going down in football all year long, in collegiate and pro. As far as home team dogs. So I'm going to stay away from the game.
Okay.
If anything, hold on. Not so fast. Let me take a look at the total. The total's 44 points. For some reason, I like the under. I think that this is going to be a lower scoring game than you would like.
Well, I know the reason, because the Vikings can't score.
Vikings can't score, number one. Defensively, they're good. And I just think that, I think that they'll hold Dallas down rushing-wise. I really do. I think that you're going to see a lot of punts in this game. Dallas only allows 19 points a game as well. So I may consider doing a marathon, pumping that up to like a 51 dream.
Yep.
And bringing that into maybe tomorrow night's games or Saturday's games or something like that. So I may pump it up to a 51 and work with the rest of the games over the weekend. I think that's my safest play because 44, I mean, realistically, it could land like right on that number. You know what I'm saying? So
the problem with me in this game for the Minnesota Vikings defense is Dak Prescott and his ability to run the ball, because I believe you're right. I think that they will be able to hold down Ezekiel Elliott for a minute or two. But what's going to happen is, I don't know if you've noticed with Dallas, but when Zeke can't get it going, Prescott drops back and then he starts taking off. Once you start getting the additive of both of these guys running the ball, it starts breaking down your defenses because guys start cheating up. Now that opens up Dez, and to me, it ain't even, honestly, and I know we love Dez, and I'm not gonna stop talking about Dez's one of the most talented wide receivers in the game right now. However, Dak Prescott's relationship with Beasley is much better than it is with Dez Bryant. So Cole Beasley is the guy that you got to worry about as far as I'm concerned, not Dez. Yeah, Dak will take that deep shot to Dez, the deep ball out there, or they'll go to Dez on that fade route in the in the end zone when they're close because of his height and stuff. But when Dak is in trouble and scrambling and they need to get that play, it's Beasley who he looks to, not Dez. So I believe that Dak's ability to move the ball, run the ball, move around in that pocket is going to cause fits for that defense that is going to be cued in on the running game. It just, to me, the whole thing spells damage by the fourth quarter. I expect it to be probably opened up. It might be tight for the first two and then start loosened up in the third, but you just can't be on the field for that long, and you just can't contain this team with all these weapons. And it's what frustrates me about Seattle, because Seattle is built very similarly to this Cowboy team, offensively, with the exception of the offensive line. But if they had the weapons like the Cowboys have, it's just so hard to stop every element of this game.
Yeah, I get it.
For a defense.
I understand. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to do a little bit more homework. Obviously, we got to see what we got situated as far as the injuries are concerned, as far as, let's just see what else we have here. Just looking at one more thing before. I'm looking at some trends. And obviously, Minnesota Dream, they've just been, they're 4-1 in the last 5 games at home, though. So most of their losses are coming on the road. No side for me, a possible underplay for me. I think that's where I'm going to go with this. If I even decide to play this game, I may not. I may just keep it into college football, because I got some dogs I plan on playing in college football this weekend.
All right,
so that's going to do it. Yeah, that's going to do it for the pro football Thursday night football. And Dream, you know what? They're talking about getting rid of Thursday night football. Did you hear that?
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah, great idea.
Great idea.
Are you being facetious?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Madden was going on just saying that it's just a watered-down product and, that it's just kind of basically it's so hard to get good teams to play each other when you have so many games spread out and blah, blah, blah. And I agree with him.
I agree. Now, the one thing, I don't think they should do away with it for the whole season. I used to remember how they used to bring it in towards the end of the season?
Yeah.
I might not disagree with that idea. Bring it in, I don't know, the last 4 weeks. That might be some fun, maybe. I don't know. But no, I think they should get rid of it. I do. I don't like their... I liked it, and then now I changed my mind on it. And at first I thought it was fun, and now I don't. And you know what? Maybe you can work it out better with college football and put more marquee matchups for college football in a Thursday night game. I don't know what you do with it, but I do think I'm in agreement with letting it go.
I'm more inclined to get rid of Sunday night football than Thursday.
See, I love Sunday night football.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's my own personal opinion.
I'm telling you, if they get rid, you got to think about. You'll feel this probably in the playoffs. When the playoffs comes, you're going to feel this. When you watch football all day on Sunday,
yep,
and then you end it at that 6 o'clock time, and you don't have that late game, it's like something missing, dude. I love the Sunday night game. You know what? I would be honestly only probably because I just can't do it with Gruden anymore. But I like the Sunday night game. That's my favorite game of the week. Believe it or not.
Is it really?
I like it more than the Monday night game.
Got it. All right. Well, hey, you know what? We'll see what they end up doing with that.
Can I talk to you about one other thing for a minute now, since we're done with football?
Yes.
LeBron James.
What did my boy do to you the other night, man?
Went into Milwaukee.
You know better than to mess with my boy in situations.
We would have had to wrestle on the ground.
Oh my God! It was so. You know better than that. You know that we make money when we spot bet the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I do, but
Dream.
I know. No, I know.
He can go. You've seen them go into Philadelphia and struggle. It's just the way they do it. You can't have your foot on the gas 100% of the time when you're playing over 60 games in the NBA. It just doesn't happen.
I do know this, but my thoughts on this are: you were just off for a couple of games. Just saw you at the Ohio State game with your boy. Because, by the way, they're having a really good time.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, they're at the Ohio State games. They want to be at the baseball games. They got the boxes, jumping around, laughing, having a good time. So I like that camaraderie and that funness about them. So my thing is, not a lot to do in Milwaukee. Go out there and just win. You don't got to blow them out. You got to cover the spread. I just figured they would win the game. LeBron, turn it up in the fourth quarter and then win the game by 2 points. That's what I was figuring. Because Milwaukee is not good at.
I don't know. I got Marlon saying that they're a good team here. Well, you know what? Hey, I'm glad you're talking about my boy because, he had the loss, and the loss has come out of his system now. And now they're home to play a marquee matchup with the L.A. Clippers tonight, Dream. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Cleveland Cavs are given 5 points. Great spot to take them now.
Listen, I'm a little bit salty with them still before it's a great spot.
Well, you know what? Yeah, you stay away from them.
I'm a little bit salty. First of all, we need to talk about the Clippers because on that same night, the Clippers lost to the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yeah, they've lost 3 in a row.
And Doc Rivers, I was going ham in the game, acting like me on the sidelines. I don't know if you caught any of that, but that was actually comical. I've actually been giving Hoop a lot of attention lately, guys, as I start to change my attention. Hoop and hockey, but we hadn't been on so long. We haven't really had time to go into it because we had to, catch up from what we did. We'll probably get into some of the other sports a little bit more tomorrow, but I have been paying attention to Hoop and hockey. The Clippers were absolutely funny the other night. Doc Rivers lost his mind. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets, which was a travesty. Your boy Paul Peasy misses a dunk, a wide open. Did you see the dunk?
I did not.
Dude. Paul Pierce misses this layup dunk. It's hilarious. So he falls on the floor. Chris Paul goes to pick him up, but gives him like the pump on his chest like he's giving him mouth to mouth, trying to resuscitate him, and they're cracking up. It's a hilarious moment in sports. If you guys haven't caught it, take a look for it. Paul Pierce tries to dunk, misses the dunk, and Chris Paul's giving him like a resuscitation to his heart. But back to reality. I don't know about the Clippers tonight.
Clippers are getting 5 points. I think I'm going to money line the Cavs tonight. I think it's a perfect situation. They're 9-1 at home. They had that one loss to Atlanta at home, but I think that they're going to get it done. You're going to get a better game. I think LeBron, well rested here. I think they'll get it done here as long as they're at full strength. I'm with them. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are a way better team than the Clippers, and they're going to come to play tonight. They're not trying to lose to the Clips dream. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a shot. Light play, nothing crazy. But
guys, if you're paying attention to the Miami Heat, which if you listen to this program, I've always been an advocate of the Heat. They are decimated with injuries. So watch yourself with this Miami Heat team right now, decimated with injuries. And if you've been watching the Pelicans got back one of their players, and their gameplay has stepped up. I know I talked about the Pelicans being a bad team, but gameplay stepped up. They got back their, I believe it's their guard they got back, and they've been, on a tear since he's been back. I don't actually think they've lost a game since he's been back, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what? I can tell you this much, that the Dallas Mavs have lost 9 out of 10 games, 3-14 on the year, Dream.
Yeah, the Mavs are a bad team. And you know what? Dirk should have, I know he wanted to stay in Dallas, but he could have went somewhere. See, this is the thing with some guys get it and then some guys don't. But Dirk, I give him a lot of respect for staying with that team, because Dirk could have went somewhere else. He decided to stay with his team. Yeah, right on. So I'm taking the Cleveland Cavs tonight. I like that better than the football game, to be honest with you. Because you were scary, you want to do a home. I'm a spot better. I'm a spot. You a spot. I'm a spot. Dream, I don't play the nasty games. I just don't. I don't. So anyway, that's going to do it for us, guys. We got to rock and roll and get ready for the weekend, man. It's Friday Eve, and we're ready to rock. Dream, what do you got to do to close out of here, my man? Hey, guys, we are delighted to be back. I'm happy to be back. And while I hear you about the Bucks, all right, well, I'm not, but I'm still, like, in the East, to me, it's Cleveland, and then possibly the Knicks, and then Chicago, and then maybe you sprinkle in the Bucks. I got them right around where Indiana is. I think it's a season wears on, but we'll keep an eye on them. I might be wrong. I want to thank everybody that's out there that's retweeted. We are sorry about the delay. Obviously, real life things happen, and you guys, I think one of the things that we try to preach on this show the most, I know you guys listen to this show, I know we talk about gambling, we talk about plays, but I think one of the biggest things for me and Hat that we wanted to do on this show is talk about balance in real life and how real life comes for everybody and everything. And we've done a lot of growth and a lot of things have gone on in both of our lives while we have continued to maintain this relationship. All the love that we got when we were off the air for those days. Oh, yeah. All you guys, we are the reason. I mean, you guys are the reason why we do what we do. We get up in the morning sometimes. Hat don't want to be bothered. Sometimes I don't. I get the kids up. I mean, it's crazy. But when we were not on for those days, all the love and all the support and all the thank yous and, everybody wishing us back and wanting us to be back. Big ups. Thank you guys. And that's why we get this thing done. I want to thank KMVU, Warwick, Terrence Mack, Joseph Del Rosario, OJFB. We got Spot Bet out there, Louis Cypher, JC, Bang the Books out there, Jeff Ryan, Jason Riley, Jules Andretti, Super Mario to the Bank, Derek Richard. We got Marley Marr, the incredible Marley Marr out there. Rick Lopez, want to thank you. Vegas Girl, want to thank you. Scott Weaver, want to thank you very much as well. A lot of you guys have hit me up on DMs, hit me up in personals, and I want to thank everybody for the support. Jack hit me up. Killer TM 505, BT, Terrence Mack, Taylor Stevens, Average Joe Punter, Tiger Clinch, Jeff Ryan, Sir Mata, JDH24, Winning Picks, Cash Action Bets, MG86, and Norbert, just to name a few guys. We thank you so much for the support. Cowboys beat the brakes off the Vikings tonight. Hometown underdog on prime time goes down tonight, gang. You'll watch it live in action. Put garlic around your neck and get it done. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you with. Make the most of each and every day because you cannot get this time. Big ups to a couple of guys here. Martin, Fred, Courier. What's going on? My man Irvin. My man Super Mario. Hope all works out for you and so many more, guys. Thank you for all the love. Direct Sports Solutions too, Mr. Charlie. Can't forget him. Yes.
So thank you to everybody that shows us love each and every day. We're getting ready to do some big things over here. Whatever you do, go easy with this game tonight, guys. I'm telling you, you already know how this shakes out with football.
You gotta go easy.
Go easy. Whatever you do whatever it is you gotta do to do whatever it is you want to do in life and get that money. Let's go.
In the words of the great Dr. Dizzle, total annihilation.
Yeah.